And welcome back to the Atmospheric Cafeteria. And yes, we've got another reading today. Not sure quite what it's about. Spirit has downloaded, and we will find out as we go. So, how is everybody? Do you have all of your projects? How are your projects going? How are your video games going? Have you beaten your highest score yet? Are you doing the best you can? Because that's all you can do, you know? I'm reminded of Wolfenstein. Is it Wolfenstein? Is that the one where like if you play on the not the hard, like if you play on the easy setting, it like picks on you? Is that or is that another one? Anyway, it doesn't matter what anybody says. You go at your own pace. Anyway. Coffee. If Spirit moves in for another step. Okay. So today we're going to start with our pink rider weights. So we got us a snoring Doug the pug. Let's see, where are we going today? Spirit really wants to get right into it today. No chittery chatter, no nothing. Jeez. That's right, Spirit says. I'm not messing around right here. Ooh. Daytime. All right. And then if I feel like they shouldn't, all right, trust the process, It's like when you start drawing and all of a sudden you're like, what the hell is this that I'm drawing? And you're like, that does not look like anything. And then, 20 minutes later, it's like, oh, that kind of resembles a dog. And then however much time later it takes you, a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, you're like, oh yeah, that does. Kind of like that face of Jesus in that church in Spain that everybody like lost their mind about because it looked like a 2-year-old did it. Well, sometimes when you're doing stuff like that, it's going to look like crap before it looks better, especially with artwork, because with artwork, it's always like, actually, I can show you. These are my sketches. They're not the final product. So often when you start something like that, my back hurts. Ooh, someone might be having a lot of gas. My back hurts, so I'm gonna say this. One of the things I was channeling before I started was, because I couldn't stop going to the bathroom. Like, it was ridiculous. Yeah, and now I'm sitting here realizing, yeah, I'm fine now. Check your kidneys. If you have kidney problems, check your kidneys. If you have dialysis, check your kidneys. Something about anxious bladder, lots of throat clearing, confusion, and anxiety. And one of the things that came up was sometimes in your older people, if they seem confused and anxious and angry and seem to start showing the signs of dementia, have them go in and checked for a UTI, because often that will, in people who are elderly, it will mimic the signs of dementia. and senility. So I think someone needs to hear that, because I'm being told, yeah, all right, that's exactly what they wanted you to know. Have your thyroid checked. Something about anxious bladder too. I find cranberry juice of whatever flavor you like is very helpful for that. And this song I was channeling today was You Look Perfect Tonight by Ed Sheeran. But I've been also channeling Love is Like a Butterfly by Dolly Parton for weeks now. So I have no idea who that is for. And it's only the part, it's only the lyrics. Love is like a butterfly, soft and gentle as a sigh. The multicolored wings of love are like its satin wings. And I hear the tinkle, 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 tinkle down. And that tinkle, tinkle, tinkle down of like the wind chimes is very important. Like butterflies and wind chimes seem to be very important. Oh my God. I was talking with my friend the other day, and so the other day I did that reading with the blue butterfly, and I was like totally freaked out. And I was saying how I felt like it was for somebody's confirmation from somebody that had passed away. So I'm telling my friend this, and she goes, Martha, that's my dad. And I'm like, oh my God. So, oh my God, I was like completely freaked out that that card, because what happened is we were talking, and for some reason I can't remember the reason completely. I showed her that card with the blue butterfly, and she like lost it, and I lost it. And you know how you have to squeal as girls? Well, we had a complete girl squeal. So that was validation of that, and I was like completely freaked out. So I had to like tell you all, because like, oh my freaking God. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like weird. You know, validation is very humbling. It's very, can really put you in your place. You know, it can either make you go real hard and go, well, of course, oh, or it can make you go, yeah, that's creeping me out that I was right. Although there is that kind of middle ground where it creeps you out that it's right, but you're looking at somebody and going, yeah. And usually that's when you've told somebody something that they already probably knew, but spirit like totally confirmed it, and you're just sitting there going, what did you ever expect anyway? I mean, come on, I told you. Spirit told you. Come on. Yep. Want to grow from your garden and not hang from your garden. Want to ride into victory and growth. Yep. So, Spirit, what have we got going on? Oh, this is going to be a fun one tonight. All right, I don't know how fun. Who's to say? I could say it's fun. It could turn into a disaster. So let's have the balance and know that anything can happen. So what is our general reading for the night? Because Spirit says all these readings are going to be general unless otherwise specified, and that Spirit is going to decide what it is. I'm like, all right. Spirit's like, you just shuffle the cards. It's a general reading until I decide which way it's going. And I'm like, all right, you do the you do you, boo-boo. Measure those chocolate chips with your heart. Just remember, don't burn them. Unless, of course, you're just going to freeze it and eat the cookie dough. I mean, then you can just, you know, whatever. I think I need to make some chocolate chip cookies. I think it's time to get the chocolate chips. So, a couple more shuffles. And we're all done. Excuse me, somebody must have like some gas or something, because like my throat, you know, there's been a lot of throat chakra clearing. And I'm not gonna say I haven't been either, because the ascension has been ever so breathtaking. Remember, when you're ascending and it comes down to you have to review something, just be honest with yourself. The only way it's going to work. You've got to be honest with you. No more, no less. Because if you're not going to be honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with anybody else. And you're not going to admit when somebody else is right about something. And growth is not always admitting when someone is right, but coming to the realization that someone is right and in your own way dealing with that. Not necessarily telling them, just dealing with that fact that they're right, you know? Yeah, that way you go forward and march into victory. I mean, growth. It's been a big topic as of late. The universe is all about that. Universe is a lot of things. Anyway, let's get back to the topic here. Hi, yes. Someone might be coming out of their slumbers. So I've seen the Four of Swords reversed a couple of times. Someone might be waking up to something new and different in life. Lower back pain. What's that? The sacral chakra. I need to look up the chakras. I really don't know enough about them. To be very honest, I don't know enough about them, and I'm going to be very honest with that. So I am going to actually come back here and put this on my list. Look up, study chakras. Because I too am always learning and growing. Oh my God. The Empress on the bottom. And Temperance. And the star. I'm an Aquarius. It makes sense? It does. It does. It does. It does. It does. Yep. Leaving ignorance. Should we do one more? Yeah, I think we should. See what it does. And I'm going to leave them out too. All right, I'm going to have a little coffee, then we're going to give a little shuffle. So I need to study the chakras. Okay. Throat. Okay. See, always good to take a note. Always good to take a note. Don't ever be embarrassed of having to write something down. Nope. And don't be afraid of learning how to remember. Getting memory hacks. Memory hacks are amazing. Alrighty. Excuse me. All right, Spirit. What would you like to tell me today? We already have 2 cards out. Yep, I'm not even going to think about it until you have all the cards out that you want. Make sure that we can all see the lovers. There we go. do changes. Time may change me, but I can't change time. Time may change me, but I can't change time. It's true, can't change time. Just move that puppy up there. Okay. All right, Spirit, what else would you like to tell me? Oh, that's fine by me. Doesn't bother me at all. And that's a bit of a mess. That's a bit of a mess, but it's kind of like a controlled mess, isn't that card? Aren't those cards? Controlled mess. Controlled mess. Five of Cups and the Hermit reversed. And remember, oh my goodness, the yawning, excuse me. If your kidneys hurt, it can also be a sign of a kidney infection. My kidneys don't hurt. I've been eating peanuts, and if you don't have a gallbladder, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't care, because it's worth the pain of the gas. It is worth it. So okay, so changes. Time may change me, but I can't in time. It's like Death Light here. Dun, dun, dun. But I can't change time. Yeah, because you got to keep moving forward, right? Forward action is always the way it should be. I feel like these have to be there. Okay, gotcha. 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 Yeah, there's like, wow. Huge mess. Wow. That's some energy. Okay. Let's see where this is going. Okay. Tiny bit of coffee left, and that's good. I'm just gonna take a dip into here. Okay, so right now Spirit is telling me this is where you are in the moment. I still have 2 more cards to take out. With that aside, you are in the process of change. You are in the process of moving forward and looking. You are looking back and reflecting at these 3 cups. It's the 5 of Cups right here. 5 of Cups. And in the 5 of Cups, he is looking at the 3 cups spilled and there are 2 cups behind him. Now, sometimes you're only looking in the past and you don't see the 2 cups here. But, you know, a lot of the readings lately have been ascension readings, workbook readings, and witchy workbook readings. And I think that this kind of right here is kind of going along with it, because death at the end of the day is change. It's either going to be change for the good or change for the bad, or change you're given kicking and screaming. Hello, welcome to the ditch that Jesus, that Yeshua and I dragged you down by the braid, you know. But this death is this change in death. And at this point, you know, death in this whole thing from the beginning to end, okay, has meant change. It's just a sudden change. Not even a sudden change. It's just change across the board of whatever, for whatever reason. And there gets to a point with death, and this might be why I'm burping and my throat is black, is because there comes a point where, in order to release your tears and release your throat chakra, in order to release yourself, you have to allow death to continue to ride forward into change, so that you can go through your 5 of Cups. And when you allow death to bring you through this change, when you allow it to patiently either take the reins of your horse, allow you to walk next to it. Sometimes death will even allow you to ride on its horse's back as it takes you. It just depends on where you are in your journey of change. But at this point in your journey of change, death is allowing you this time and this space, as he watches from a distance, as you're looking at these 3 cups in your past. But death knows that you know that these 2 cups are here, and you keep them in your mind as you're reviewing this past, because reviewing this past is what is most important. It's what, you know, propels us forward. The 8 of Wands, it's what propels us forward and keeps death, keeping us through those changes, so that we can, you know, eventually get here to the Lovers. I mean, yes, the Lovers is the card of the Lovers, but the Lovers has 2 meanings, you know. The Lovers is, oh, I love you, I've met you on the road, I love you, let's be partners, whatever, in love. There's another card within, I think it's the 2 of Cups, that I've heard referred to, the actual Lovers card. Often what the Lovers means is it's a choice. It's a choice. Which road are you taking? Which road are you going down? There's 2 roads. Which road are you going down? Or I'm being told that sometimes with the Lovers, it's not just 2 roads. It's like a road off to the left, or a road off to, like if this was non-binary, like you can go a road off to the left and to the feminine, a road off to the right to the masculine, or down towards the center into non-binary, which actually, yeah, because there's 3. So yeah, it's like you can go to the right, to the left, or straight. And at this point, you're making the choice to go forward, because you don't need to stop off. You don't need to go to the right and the left right now. You've already done that. You've already gone those ways, and right now your horse is taking you forward, because that's just where you need to be, because you're ready and willing to do the work. You're willing to go on the long journey in this change. That's really good. That's really good. That's brilliant. That's wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Well, I didn't make another pot of coffee, Spirit, and I apologize. I did think of it earlier. I just figured I probably didn't need any more coffee. Not that I've had a lot of coffee, but you know, I didn't think about it, and now you're missing coffee. I apologize. Jeez. Sorry, everybody. So this mess that fell out, it was a controlled mess. You know, it didn't come out all willy-nilly. It was a controlled mess. It was on some level controlled, but still messy enough. And although these are getting put back in, you know, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Fell off the Wheel of Fortune and right onto 10 Swords. We proceeded into a huge battle. We've got the Five of Wands, where you got hung upside down like the hangman. Oh my Jesus Christ. You ended up, oh my God, oh Jesus. You ended up sticking yourself in the cave around 8 swords. Even you couldn't get around your 8 swords, even though you know how to get out of them. You couldn't because you were busy hiding behind 10 wands. I mean, that burden was huge. Like, whatever that was, like, it was, my God, it cost you money. And it cost you your swords. It cost you money, honey. Got the King of Coins, the Emperor. It cost this person huge money. Georgetown. Huge money. Huge money. And it was all deception. It was deception. Yeah. Yeah. So they couldn't see their sword. It took away their sword. It took away their sword. You know, and it took away their sword. Because what is it oh my God, what is it I always say about this? Oh my God, yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, look at that. We've got the 10 of Swords and the Ace of Swords. It took your world away and plunged you into here, into the 10 of Swords. Because you were already here. You see, we radiate between our masculine and our feminine energy if you allow yourself to feel the way that you as a human should feel within your own energy. You'll radiate between the two. And you'll feel however you're going to feel. So usually we're radiating between our King and our Queen of Swords, right? We're radiating there, we're radiating there. But one hard move, you know, and our Queen of Swords gets terrified and hides, and it's our King of Swords that's there, and he's looking around and he needs to thrash. Because you got to remember, the Queen of Swords isn't stupid. She knows she can cut through the bullshit, but she's a gentle bullshit cutter. The King of Swords, he's going to cut your head off. Okay, we all worry about you know, the Queen of Hearts cutting. No, we don't worry about the Queen of Cups cutting your head off. You worry about the King of Swords. But if you have balance, if you have 42, then you just ride between the two. You know when to cut a head off, and you know when to lightly tell somebody without completely, you know, decapitating them, right? But if the Queen of Swords gets terrified, she's going to hide, right? This is the Wheel of Fortune, not the World. Well, I don't know why I thought it was the World. Either way, I think they meant both cards too. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they're like, yeah, that's fine. She gets scared, and the only one to come out is the King of Swords. And he is going to fight because his queen is scared, and now he can't find his counterpart, which makes him 10 times more frightened, which means that he's going to regress back down into the Knight, and the Knight of Swords is very fearful as he cuts through the bullshit. It's new for him. He's going to cut down through the Page. He's going to go down back through the Page, and the Page is even more scared than the Knight is, because it's a younger version of the King and Queen, right? And when you're younger, you're always more afraid than when you are when you're older. Your fear when you're younger is far more terrifying than your fear when you're older, because when you're older, you can kind of suss it out and figure out what exactly this is. When you're 5 years old, you have no idea. No idea. You know? And that's, you know, one of the things about getting better and getting mentally healthy is dealing with that little kid fear, because as an adult, that little kid fear grew with us and it still doesn't get it, but our big adult does. So it's like you have to like heal that little part of you that doesn't understand and bring it into the part of you that does understand. I always call it, you know, holding your little self and explaining that it's safe and you can beat up any monster that's there, sort of thing. You could do that until whatever it was knocked you on your ass. It sent you hard into your 10. And for me, swords are always done backwards. You fall out of your king and queen and plummet back down into the knight and the page, and then you land on the shore stabbed with 10 swords. And you have to go through your 10 of swords. You have to go through your 9 of swords. You have to go through your 8 of swords. You have to go through all of these sorrows. I mean, it's yeah. So you've got your 10 of swords, and here's your battle and hanging upside down. That's your 9 of swords. Then you've got your 8 of swords, and it's upside down, and you can't even figure out where in the hell you are. You know, you're hiding here. Okay? And then this shows how the regal man was taken down and brought down into his page of swords, which brought him into his 10 of swords, which when he got to his ace of swords, because he plummeted all the way back down, there was nothing there. There wasn't a sword for him to pick up. No bankai. No zanpakuto. Because it wasn't upright. It was such a harsh block down that there was no upright sword there for him to catch as he came down. You know, there's that cloud there. There was nothing for him to reach down for. There was only blade, and there was no blade. You know, so he got cut going all the way down. And they're saying, and when he did reach out, he got cut by his own blade. I say he because that's what's being given to me, but I always like to keep things kind of non-binary, so just take it as it is. But this is that big sorrow, and it took his wheel of fortune away. You know, I said the world, but it took his world, and his world was his wheel, and his wheel, what, I don't want to say his wheel was his fortune, but remember, fortune isn't always a monetary. It can be other things. It can be kids. It can be this. It can be that. It can be, you know, respect. It can be anything. But this is what came out. This is the mess. This is what got us here. This is what got the change rolling. The death of the ego choosing to stop complaining about coffee. Sorry, my spirits get a little snarky. I think that's actually my mother complaining about coffee. That's funny. It's not shocking, actually. But that's what got this change moving. You know, this person reached a rock bottom and they had to move. They had to start that change forward. And it's all of that that got this person. It's dealing with all of those things. It's dealing with their 10 of swords and falling down and realizing that they were cutting themselves on their own sword, and they couldn't even get their own sword to begin with because it was upside down. That made them have to propel into a change. That made them have to figure out how to upright themselves on the staircase. You know, you fell down the staircase, you're upside down hanging. Now I've got to figure out how to get myself upright back, they say. And that's what started this propel of the change. And now they're here. They're at that point of reflection where they're looking at that past and they're wondering how, You know, it's not that they're wondering how they're going to move forward, because they know how they're going to move forward. It's just they need to sit in this sorrow of these 3 cups. You know, they need to kind of go in the backyard. They need to start the fire pit. They need to roast some marshmallows. Maybe they're going to make a s'more because they just had dinner and this is dessert. You know, don't forget to have your water there. Drink your water. Go get a water. It's not a, yeah, it's just a suggestion. And they're in that point where they just need to review that. They just need to review that because they know that they're moving forward here to this 2 of Cups, but they really kind of just need to review right here for a while. They need to sit in their sorrow here. They need to sit in their sorrow. And it's good to sit in your sorrow sometimes. You know, I mean, sometimes you got to sit in the camp, out in the backyard at the campfire and sit in your sorrow for a little bit, just for a little bit, not forever, you know, because you can't live there. You've still got to move forward with your 8 of Wands, right? You've got to move forward. You've got to look down that path and go, okay, which path am I doing? You know, I mean, I'm looking at these sorrows right here. I'm looking at them and I'm sitting in it, and Spirit's like, you know, and don't forget, this isn't just sorrow because of, we don't just do this because of sorrow, because of tragedy. We do this as we age and grow, and we look back, and you will also feel sorrow as you look back because, you know, you change and grow. And it's important to look back like this. Now, when you have a big change due to trauma, that's a different kind of spiritual growth, but it's still growth. And it's like they're like growth, it's like they're growth siblings, kind of like cousins that were raised together as siblings is pretty much what it is, you know. That growth of sitting in sorrow, and that growth of, you know, you're 50 years old now and your knowledge is so much greater that you have to just kind of sit there in that moment and realize that, oh, I'm never getting younger than this age right now, and I'm only going to look older. And that's a really, really scary point to be at, but you have to remember that right now you are this young and you love yourself this young, and you know what? Next year you're going to love yourself you're going to love yourself the way you are next year, and you're going to grow into who you are. And that's what the most important thing is. That's, you know, the most important thing of change. You know, that's why you sit in your sorrow for a little bit, whether it's your sorrow because you're growing older and you don't necessarily like the changes you're seeing, and you have to sit there in your sorrow and learn how to accept the fact that you are growing older. These changes are going to happen. All of the plastic surgeries are not necessarily mentally healthy. And you have to sit there and ask yourself, is it worth starting something that's not mentally healthy, or is it just, I have a crepey neck and I really want that taken care of, and I'm going to do that and live with a couple of wrinkles that I have? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to sit in your sorrow and come to the realization of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's okay. Because that's what keeps you moving forward. That's what keeps the horse of change moving forward. Okay, Spirit. Say 2 more cards, all right? You do you boo boo boo. It's exactly what it tastes like, is chocolate ice cream. Like melted chocolate ice cream. Alright, Spirit. Spirit says that was your past and that part of your life is changing. So we're shuffling the cards because we want the energy to be different, because that part of the energy of your life is no longer there. So these cards should be shuffled to represent that. I gotcha. Because I needed to see the past for you, and you needed it validated that. Yeah, because this put his king in his cups. Now, I say this king in his cups, but he might even really actually lost a lot of money. But, you know, in my family, if you say you're in your cups, it means you're drunk. So, you know, this king was really put through his sorrows. Might have even drank a little bit more than what he needed to. Being told like a little bit more alcohol. Maybe he even has money so that he can get whatever he wants. So, okay. I swear it's not my OCD in the shuffling. One more. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So. Hi, pretty. Hi. Hello, angels. I love you. I love you. Oh, it's your love, baby. So love bear. Yes, you is. Yes, you're my love bear. You are. Alrighty. Okay, so we have 2 more cards. My goodness. Letting the hyperactivity leave my body. Doesn't feel right. Upside down doesn't feel right completely. No, I'm gonna do it like that until it tells otherwise. Okay, that does make more sense. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, that's your future. Your Future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. Oopsie, oopsie. Okay. My goodness, squeaky glasses. So, like I said, you have a lot of forward movement into change, and it's very big forward movement, huge forward movement. Like I say, you've picked a path. And you know this path that you want to go down. And in the very cliche way, this path does bring you justice. And I'm seeing, like, you know, the hero in the Western that, you know, you didn't know, you know, you knew he was innocent. No one else believed you. And now he's toddling his ass out of town. The victor, right? Bringing justice. The high priestess. And that's the thing. That's true too. You do go through your Ten of Swords many times as you're changing. It's like you have that initial thing that brought your Ten of Swords down, right? That like brought you down to your Ten of Swords. And then as you go through this growth and change, you do end up back at the Ten of Swords. But every time a sword is taken out, you know, and every time that sword really isn't as deep, and eventually it's just kind of, they kind of scraped you as you walked by them, you know, they just, you know, eventually they're just stuck in the ground. And, you know, you can look at the sorrow and go, yeah, that really sucked and it was sad. I gotta sit here for 5 minutes and think about that. And that's a grand amount of healing. I mean, and Spirit says, remember, show me like an archway, like a wooden archway. Remember, when you're going through that archway, you're going to go through that archway so very many times. Eventually, you're going to see old Ten of Swords come back up, and you're just going to walk through them, and that those swords are going to be in the ground, and you're, you know, you're going to get to that Nine of Swords, and yeah, that was sad, and you're going to, like, review that again, just you're reviewing it because you have so much more information as you grow and change as a human. And oh wow, this is really growy. Yeah, as you grow and change as a human. And that's important for the forward movement, and that's why you're doing this now. You're sitting in these sorrows, and these are big sorrows. This isn't like those little sorrows. You're just like, oh, yep, that sucked. It's, and yep, I have to live with it now. It's, Yep, these were sorrows that if I had thought about them 2 years ago would have sent me on a drunk bender, and now they just make my skin hurt and I can deal with that. It really hurts, but I have to do that because I like these 2 cups behind me more than these 3 cups that are there, and I need to keep moving forward on my journey. You know, you need to keep moving forward, and every once in a while you're gonna, you know, this guy is gonna step away from the horse, and he's gonna have to, you know, you're not going on your journey by yourself. You're just stepping away and taking a look at the river. You're taking a look at, you know, where are you on the cups, you know? And death tells me that, you know, this change comes in many different forms of helping hands. You know, you're never going to know when the death of change is helping you. You're never going to know when the death of change is helping you. It's just one helping hand that's there for you. And you may eventually realize it, and you may eventually not, you know. But it's important. It's important because that's what makes you help somebody else. Ow, that hurt. Ow, that was itchy. We like to read the cards the way that we like to read the cards, don't we, Spirit? Yes, we do. Just like we like to read the tiles in the bathroom at the mall. Anybody else do that? Is that just me? Hello. Tell me you're a scryer without telling me you're a scryer. Can't look at any pattern anywhere, can I? You know, that explains a lot, actually, in my house, why I don't like a lot of pattern stuff. That explains a whole lot. Anyway, I digress on myself. Yeah, the death of change says you never know when those helping hands are going to be, because even though you know you've picked your lane and this is going to bring you the helpfulness and justice that you need, that justice that makes you realize that you are right, and I'm going to put this forward motion in and become this high priestess. I'm going to be this person, you know, who becomes more knowledgeable. Even though you know you're going that way, you can become very unbalanced. You can become overwhelmed, overstimulated, overcommitted to everything, and do too much for too many people. And you don't want to do that. Sometimes what you have to do as the high priestess is realize that you're going to do that and take the helping hand from people to make sure you're not overcommitting yourself. Okay, so you can either walk into this and overcommit yourself to everybody around you and, you know, charge in, bringing yourself back down to the page. Because remember, one of the most important things about healing yourself is making sure, we have a doggy having a bad dream, just so you're aware, if you should hear any noises. Part of when you're healing yourself from trauma is knowing when to not plunge in. Don't be the Knight of Swords and plunge in with stupidity to the point that you're bringing yourself back down to a reverse page of Swords. You need to be upright, and right now you're here. You're sideways. So, and that's good. You want to be a little bit sideways. It makes you cautious as you move more towards the edge of the Fool. But the only way to do that is to realize that sometimes I take too much on. You know, yes, I'm gaining my powers. I'm ascending, whether spiritually or physically or in life or whatever, but I can take too much on, and people can take advantage of that, or I don't realize I'm doing that and I need you know, this help from someone else to control this. And not even control it, just to help me be more mindful and learn how to say no. Because you want to be the Knight of Swords plunging in who understands who the page is. Because it's only when you understand who the page is and you take that little page along with you, didn't we talk about that earlier, your little self? It's only when you take that little self with you, plunging back into the king and queen, that you really, really start to go into the Fool and fall into where you need to be. Because once you do this, you're going to fall right into the king and queen, you know? Because at the end of the day, you have to remember, you fell all the way down to the Ace of Swords, and there was not an Ace of Swords for there was not a single sword for you to pick up because it was upside down, which meant that you had to claw your way back up. Okay, you had to fall to the ground. You had to be blinded. You had to search and find those two swords, because that one sword wasn't there. So you had to find those two swords, and then you had to go upwards through your 3 of swords, your 4 of swords, your 5 of swords, your 6, your 7, your 8, your 9, and then your 10. And now here you are at your Knight of Swords, and you've already done your Page of Swords. But in order to move forward into the Fool, you have to remember all of the past. You have to review all of those 3 cups so that the 2 of you are plunging together, okay? She's always going to be behind you, prompting you forward, okay? But you got to move forward, okay? This technically should look like this, okay? It should be the Page, the Knight, and going into the Fool. This would be stronger, but you're not. And it's okay to be exactly where you are, because you are exactly where you're supposed to be in your healing journey, and no one can expect more than that. And no one should, and neither should you, because you need to be where you are in this moment so you can sit and reflect and learn, because you know those 2 cups are there. And if you don't fully reflect here on some level and get better, when you go to deal with these 2 cups, they're just going to fall over, and you're going to get angry, and you're going to go a little backwards, and then you're going to be angrier backwards. And then death is going to have to sit there on the horse and watch you have an overstimulated meltdown. As the sand starts to get into your boots, which is going to make you even more overstimulated, and now you're walking in water, which makes the sand weird, and now, you know, your boots are dirty, and it's too hot, and you're thirsty, and, you know, you're melting down. So you have to remember, this is good. You're remembering the past. You're remembering, you know, the face of your father, as they say. It's all right, baby. Oh, he's having a run in his dream. So you have to remember, these 2, this is why they're connected. This, okay, is helping him get here. Because without her backup and his remembrance of her, there's no way he could keep going. Because right now, he's got a lot of swords with him. And he's taking her with him, so they can fall into the Fool. If anything, the theme of this would be these 3 right here. That's why they are where they are. But this is important to remember, that if you are lacking the correct judgment and you are saying yes to too many people, and you know you can't fulfill your yeses, or you're struggling to say no, get this balance, you know, realize that you are struggling, and make sure that these people here, these helping hands, know that you're struggling, saying no, that you're overwhelmed. Because you don't want to end up here and be overstimulated. If you've had sand in your toes, you know what I'm saying. Okay. I mean, it's just a point of review right now. It's just a point of review. it will bring your 10 of Cups. It's going to bring that to you. It's going to bring all of what you desire, you know. And remember, all of what you desire comes to you every single time you review these cups, mourn those cups, go through that grieving process, turn around, pick these 2 cups up, and get back on the horse and move forward so that you can continue your journey on. And then when you need to, get off the horse and refill these 2 cups and turn around and see these 3 cups again. Because that's what happens. You go and you're refilling your cups, your 2 cups, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, there's that trauma, tragedy, or whatever. And you have to sit there and review that with these 2 cups in your hand. And you know, thank God they're there for, you know, you to sip on as you need it. Yeah, because that brings you into union with yourself, your 2 of Cups. It really and truly does. Which brings you to your King, which gives you more higher emotional control. But not the kind of emotional control where you're stuck in your emotion of not having emotion, but the emotional control of where you can have the emotion and not feel guilty for it and move forward and be you within that emotion. You know, you're in the middle of the store at Christmas time, you hear I'll be home for Christmas, and you start crying, and you don't care because that's your emotion and you have to deal with it in that moment. And it's not weak to deal with it there. It's actually strong. It is strength, no matter where you are, to deal with that emotion. Do we sometimes have to, it's a king to deal with your emotions there, whether you're a masculine or a feminine. You are right in that king moment of that when that happens. You know, it's really and truly important to it's really important to, I forgot what I was saying there for a second, I got distracted. Knight of Cups, yeah. Moon. To take time to self-reflect. I mean, you're going to go through your, yeah, exactly. I got lost in what I was saying there for a second. Did you have another card, Spirit? Review. It's true. Color pink might be important to you. Yeah. Yeah. Because reviewing these 3 cups will really put you a lot within your shadow self. It will really put you a lot within your devil energy. It will really put you through your tests. And it's important when you get off the horse and you're filling these 2 cups that these 2 cups are steady in your hand as you're reviewing. You know, you've got the cups there, you've got the water there, you can always sip it if you need to, just to make sure that you're balanced and you're here. Because and something is saying like PTSD. This can sometimes be like a form of PTSD that you're reviewing. Obviously PTSD is different. You're going to review that differently within yourself. I'm myself have PTSD, so they're showing me that sometimes when you get off the horse, with death because you need some water. Ooh, there's a cool breeze on my back. You go to the cool water to refill the cups, and you turn around and you see these 3 cups. These 3 cups weren't there before. These 3 cups, they're telling me, are a mirage. This is your PTSD. And they show me when I have PTSD and I have to sit there and breathe. Because, you know, you turned around. You were only expecting to fill your 2 cups here. So you could, you know, get back going. Because technically, you know, you got 5 cups, but you only need to refill these 2. But you weren't expecting to see the 3 cups that are there over here. Because that's just the PTSD. And now you have to, like, review that. Like, you see it. Like, for myself, it's a point of just sitting there with it and breathing through it and helping my body to cope with what is going on. And there are some points and parts of that where I do that, and then the PTSD slowly moves along the more I cope with it. And there is PTSD I have where this is just going to be the best it gets. So Spirit said, you know, they want you to recognize that too. When you're on this journey, don't get stuck in your PTSD. It's very easy to do that. And I'm saying that from experience. They're saying take stock of the 2 cups in your hands and keep yourself grounded. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but you don't have to get stuck in your PTSD. You can. And it's hard. But whoever this is for, they're at that point where they're ready to feel the glass of water next to them and do the different steps. Hi. Talk about PTSD. Talk about a puppy that has PTSD. We get specific food because there's a very particular food that gives him PTSD. So yeah. Spirit wants you to remember that on the road to change, there are moments where you're going to go fill your 2 cups up and you're going to turn around and those 3 cups are going to be there, and they weren't supposed to originally be there. They weren't even with you. They're still with death. And death is over there looking at you going, oh, I got those. What are you staring at? And you're like, these 3 cups, they're on the ground. And death's like, yeah, I got these 3 cups over there. And you're like, yeah, I know you do, but that's not what I'm looking at. And Spirit wants you to know that part of change is also understanding that this is going to happen on the road to change, and it's okay. You're going to deal with this how you're going to deal with it. You're going to heal it how you're going to heal it. But this in itself, they're telling me the review we're talking about on a whole of reviewing your past and your sorrows, this isn't including your PTSD. Your PTSD and your CPTSD is going to be what it is. And you're going to work on that in these moments in the way that you feel you need to. I work on it in my way, and I've explained how I do that for myself. And you're going to work on it for yourself with whomever you're working on it with, okay? But this PTSD is going to come up as you're moving forward into change. And death and change, death the change, wants you to know that. Because they said it's very easy to get stuck staring at this mirage because you think it looks real, but it's not. And death says when this happens, death can't move you. It can try to move you, but like if you look at this person, they're so stunned at what they're looking at that they can't not look at it. So death says it's really important for you to know on the outset that this is something that can happen. So when it does happen, be prepared. You know, if you understand it and you see it's happening and you realize, okay, I'm slipping into there, start to get yourself into a safer area. Get your comfy pajamas on. Excuse me, pardon me. Get something fizzy that you make you burp a little bit, maybe. Get something to eat. Make sure you've eaten that day. Get some coffee, get some water, you know, get your imbibe of choice that's not alcohol or anything bad. And let your body and yourself like deal with this as you need to, you know. Death is just saying don't get stuck here, you know, because you have all of this rest of the journey to go on. If you get stuck here because your PTSD or your memories or your fear even takes over, you're going to set the cups down here and you're going to forget that they're there. And he said you're just going to wither up in the desert, and he really doesn't want that for you, you know. He wants you to be the successful king. He wants you to be the king of coins, you know. You know, and if you allow this part that's not shadow work to consume you, you won't get to your king of coins. Because that's your final destination. And that doesn't necessarily mean monetary wealth. That just means wealth of spirit and wealth of mental health and wealth of where you need to be for you. But spirit needs you to know that you're going to do this review, and then you're going to pick your cups up and get back on the horse with death. But in the process of that, if you suffer from PTSD or CPTSD, you might go for water and turn around, and these 3 cups that are with death are all of a sudden there because, you know, that's the trauma coming back to you, right? As my uncle once said to my grandpa, Uncle Ral, I'm sitting here with you. I know I'm in the kitchen with you, but when I look out the window, I just see bombs and palm trees. You know? And if my uncle wasn't that rational, if he hadn't gone and, you know, gone to the VA, gone to the meetings, had the help, gone to the therapist, saw the doctors, when he had PTSD, when he was sitting there with my grandfather, he would have gotten lost in these 3 cups. He wouldn't have even understood the 2 cups, aka my grandfather, were even there. But he knew when he looked across, he knew these 2 cups were there, okay? And he knew when he looked over here that that wasn't there. And that's what's important, is recognizing what is real and what is not. Because not only will negative energies lie to you, but you will lie to you. I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that, I'm ugly, I'm fat, whatever. It's called self-gaslighting. Yeah. Because you don't want to sit in the past, you want to move forward from this. You want to move forward into your good fortune. Yeah. Sometimes I read my cards backwards because I'm dyslexic, and that's just the way life goes. Oofty, excuse me, pardon moi. But they have here your future. And because you, so if you do the work that's hard, and this is really hard work, and you're going to get to where you're going to get to as you're going to get. And what I'm about to show you isn't the end result, it's the result when you finish this part of the journey before starting the next part of the journey, okay? You've reviewed these sorrows so that you can turn around, pick these cups up, and go back to the horse. You've realized in the process of going on this journey that sometimes when you have to refill these 2 cups, you'll turn around and suddenly there are just 3 fallen cups. You've realized that this is not good, that this can stall your journey, so you're making the choices not to do that. And because you're doing that, when you come to the end of this journey, you will have balanced yourself in temperance, which will then have taken you out of your 8 of Swords. You will have figured out how to get out of this sword maze of your own, which will give you your 9 of Cups and bring you the celebration and raise you up into the Emperor and put you on top of the Wheel of Fortune so that you can see your destiny, so you can see where you're supposed to go next. And when you're on top of this Wheel of Fortune, what's going to happen is you're going to temper yourself for a while. You're going to sit there in balance, and you're going to sit there in happiness. And remember, at any time, that's going to start going down, because whatever it is that you need to review at the moment is going to come up. This could be a review because you turned, 53 years old, and now you need to review stuff from 10 years ago because it wandered into your head and now you know more, and you're just having that review. Or you're on another stage of your healing journey and having more memories, or maybe you've dealt with those memories, but now we're a little 10 years difference, and that review always comes back in. And at that point you can sit there and go, nope, it's still the same thing. Or you can go, oh, you know what? I kind of understand. It's still the same thing. It was still wrong, but I understand it from this perspective now, but it doesn't make it right. And we're not going to say it's right. It's just I have more understanding and depth within that situation. And having understanding and depth within the situation of what happened doesn't make the situation right. It doesn't make everything okay. It just means you have understanding and clarity so that you understand why this happened. And the understanding of why it happened brings you healing, brings you clarity, brings you yourself, reminds you of what you love, reminds you of who you are, brings you onto the top of the Wheel of Fortune so that you can see. And then when you need to jump off of the wheel, you can jump off, and when you need to jump on, you can jump on. Okay? If you got to jump onto the wheel, you can. If you got to come up to the top, you can. That's what this moving forward does. And it does it to everyone. It does it to everyone. And we got 10 of coins on the bottom. Nine of coins, Queen of coins, 10 of cups. Takes you out of your 4 of swords, brings you strength. I mean, we've got the Queen of Cups as well. I mean, it takes you out of your, is that the 8 of Cups or the 7 of Cups? That's the, yeah, it takes you out of your 8 of Cups. Brings you home to whom you are. You traveled away from whom you are. And now, through this review, you're traveling back home to who you are. You're traveling back home to yourself. And that's the most important thing. You've got to travel back home to yourself. For yourself, because you yourself have to be complete in order to get this future. But that's what you want, and that's what you're doing, so you can have all the things, so you can be the King of Swords, the King of Swords, the King of Swords. Yeah, so you can be the King of Swords. Wait, what one is that? Is it that one? Or is it... Okay. Yeah. Spirit, do you have anything else to say, or did I get that? Really? Yeah. Yeah, and all this hard work takes you out of your rest. It takes you out of your rest. It takes you out of your rest. It helps you heal your heart. It helps you heal the Three of Swords. It helps you heal the three swords in your heart, which brings you down to catching that one sword. You know? I mean, that's real hard work. That's patience. That's bringing you everything that you want. We have the all stop here, which means the card's like, yeah, we're done. No forward movement. Blank card, all stop, which means you're done. And it doesn't mean that you're done with growth. It means the reading done is here. The cards are like, yeah, we're not going to give you any more. I'm like, all right. I love that. I love that. I love having that card in there. Because this card can mean a couple of different things, but that's what it means here. So that is what Spirit would like you to know. Okay? You're going to be successful in this. This is the most important card right now. Okay? These three cards are the most important cards right now. Okay? You're riding on Death the Change, okay? Death the Changeling. And he's bringing you forward in your movements, okay? It's just every once in a while, within your forward movement, you have to review some of the cups. Because sometimes you did bring 5 cups, and as you turned around, you kicked over 3, and that triggered you. So now you have to review those 3 cups because you need to move. Now remember, when I say review, I don't mean try to be passive aggressively headstrong and take it all on at one time. I mean, review what you feel comfortable reviewing in the time and space that you do. If you start to realize at work that you're having a moment and you can leave and go home, do that. If you can't and you need to kind of put a hold on it and get yourself into an area of work, or, you know, wait till the end of the day and get home and know that you're safe and then allow yourself to have that moment, do it. But allow yourself to have the moment, because if you don't, then you're just going to start walking down the beach and Death is going to go, where the hell are you going? And you're going to go, I was going back there. And Death is like, yeah, but you were going forward. And you're going, but back there. And Death is like, where are you going? Because he's not going to get off the horse and bring you back to the road. Only you can do that. Only you can bring yourself this forward movement. No one else can do that. Okay? That's why it's important for you to review this, because when you do, that means that you're going back to Death, you're feeling a little crappy, you've refilled all your cups, and now you're getting back on the horse, and yeah, maybe you're going to lay your head on Death's shoulder and cry for a little bit because you're sad. But you know what? Those tears are emotions, and those emotions leaving are what's important. That's what gives you clarity and growth. That's what helps you heal. Getting out that emotion in tears, whether you are a man or a woman or they, them. It doesn't matter who you are. It is brave to cry and to release those emotions so that you can internally feel better and not have to feel like crap all the time because you didn't release when you needed to. Because remember, if you don't do that, you're going to find your releases in other ways. And those other ways are only going to be okay for a few minutes until you realize, that you needed to cry. Because let's face it, if you're the kind of person where you do abusive things to yourself to make yourself feel better, if you cry, that is far more cathartic than hurting yourself, because hurting yourself only works in the moment. Whether you're, trigger warning, cutting yourself or drinking or doing drugs or anything that is abusive towards yourself. Okay? Whew, that was a spirit takeover. They definitely had something to say there. Okay, so doing that stuff is only a momentary solution. Okay, you still have to cry over this. Do you have to fully cry? No, you're going to cry in your own way. You know, maybe you're going to go for a walk. Maybe you're going to go for a jog and you're going to come home and you're going to have gotten a little bit of the energy out. It's okay to get a little of the energy out. Don't abuse yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is where we're going to leave it. If you have any questions, let me know. If anybody is interested in a reading, let me know. So, this is where we have it for you today. Yeah, we got this, don't we? We do. There we go. Alrighty then. Okay. Spirit's like, okay, time to move on. Alright, guys. I will see you all later. And be good, behave, be happy, and be yourself. And remember, good night, God bless you, and we love you. Bye.